My dear students of class 12, I hope that you spent the puja holidays and the great days of pujas with very spirit, enthusiasm and jubilant. And I also hope that all of your family members are well and accompanied you to make you joyful during the puja holidays. Anyway, let us start again or resume our classes through online services. And you remember well, I hope, that we already analyzed and read with you the text, the poem, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? Yes. And as far as I remember, I made a sum up and the concluding couplet also. But in my previous class, I didn't explicitly analyzed the concluding couplet. And therefore, today's lesson or today's class is about the concluding couplet and the function of Shakespeare's couplet, especially in sonnet number 18 or Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day. Shakespearean sonnets are divided into 3 quatrains and a concluding couplet. And generally, the concluding couplet re-emphasizes the thematic issue, his core point, what he said or written earlier. Sometimes he re-emphasized it. Sometimes he tried to make it a prominent issue, either through repetition or through act. My dear friends, I am analyzing as well as pinpointing the Shakespeare's couplet. What is a couplet? A 2-line rhyming poems. And it's a concluding couplet. That means the Shakespearean sonnets ends with a couplet. That means 2 rhyming lines. After the summary of the 3 quatrains, in the couplet, the poet emphasizes that if poetry cannot perpetuate anyone's beauty or anyone's love for him or her, it's completely wrong. And his point is that the Latin adage or proverb, ars longa vita brevis, that is, art is long, life is short. He re-emphasized this point by saying that poem or art in general and poetry in specific, will continue to live, will continue to exist till man can breathe or man can have the ability to see. That is, until they have eyes or until they can hear or breathe, the life of poetry or life of art will go on. And this is and exaggerated. But the point is, we, the reader, I have already said that we are the reader, we are the critic, the conscious reader and conscious critic. We have to analyze those two lines or those two concluding lines very carefully. We have to judge whether that statement declared in the two lines are purely correct. What he says in the concluding line? What he says? Can you remember? What does he say? Yes. Can you repeat the line? Just 1 minute. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Who says this? From you, the answer will come that Shakespeare says this. No, it is not so. Shakespeare does not say so. Who says this? Shakespeare the lover says this. Shakespeare as a lover, not as a writer. Shakespeare the writer. Here, Shakespeare the lover, the exuberated lover, the exaggerated lover, who loves that man very well, who loves that man so much, says this. But a lover's declaration can never be true, can sometimes be untrue, at least partially. In Shakespeare's couplet, there is a breach, that is gap. That is Shakespeare's uniqueness. Shakespeare's uniqueness that in some of his couplets, there is a breach, there is a gap between Shakespeare the lover and Shakespeare the poet or writer. Here the lover ecstatically says that so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this. But unconsciously, Shakespeare the writer intrudes here. Shakespeare the writer intrudes into the poem. Yes, what I am saying, that Shakespeare the poet, he is cautious one. He knows the limitation of art. Art has also a limited sphere, though that limitation is greater one. Though the possibility of limitation is beyond our graspability or beyond our perception. But it may come within 5 years or 10 years, the whole human existence is destroyed. Or that we live, but our auditorial power as well as our eyesight can be removed forever, and we cannot see or we cannot hear or we cannot talk poetry. Here is the gap, and therefore there is a tonal indeterminacy and the tonal duplicity from the part of the poem. Shakespeare the poet does not support what Shakespeare the lover says in the concluding couplet, because the existence of art, existence of poetry lies on many issues, the longevity of human beings as well as the hearing, talking and seeing quality or capability, ability of human beings. And therefore, we realize that Shakespeare the lover may exaggerate the issue or may overlap the issue or may not concentrate on the issue, but Shakespeare the poet as well as we, the cautious reader, the cautious critic, must note it, that Whatever eternity Shakespeare the lover claims for art, it may not be true so always. Anyway, thank you and good night.